Today we have with us Ashok Malhotra. He is one of the founders of Sumedhas Academy for Human Context. Now you might ask, what is that? We'll come to it. He is also the program director for an incredible program that Sumedhas has called its summer program. So we'll begin a conversation with Ashok, asking him what is Sumedhas all about, what is the summer program all about, who is it for, who is it not for, and what can we expect from it. Hi Ashok, and welcome.
Thank you.
It's a very interesting organization. What does Sumedhas do?
Sumedhas is a not-for-profit company, Section 25C. It has 70 fellows who are also the shareholders of Sumedhas. Naturally, like any other Section 25C company, Sumedhas, the shareholders do not derive any financial benefit from it. Sumedhas endeavors to create spaces wherein people from different walks of life can come together, share the joys, sorrows, dilemmas, difficulties, insights about their own lives, about the context in which they are living, and hopefully learn from each other and gain some insights into themselves.
So all kinds of people, like different age groups, different profession,
yes,
background.
That's right.
And they all come together.
Like in a summer program, we have programs for children, we have programs for youth, adolescents, we have programs for homemakers, there are managers, there are people who are engaged in social activism, there are there is an internship program. Internship program is for people who wish to become what we call process workers.
So like yourself.
That's right.
Okay. So but you were talking about the summer program, how 70% of the time they spend in their
own respective small groups.
Okay.
And the balance time they spend interacting with other people.
And why do you do that? Why is it important?
It's important because it's very significant for people to look at issues from a perspective which is totally different from their own.
Okay.
You know, for instance, if you are, let's say, a manager in an organization, you tend to look at life in a particular way. It's extremely liberating when you start seeing life from the point of view of a 5-year-old kid.
Or a homemaker for that matter.
Or from the point of view of a social activist.
You
know, so when you start looking at things from a different perspective, it's a lot easier because there are many things which you take for granted, which you assume and you say, that's the way it is. So we have found, in fact, one of the most significant parts of Sumedhas is that it allows you an opportunity to interact with people whose background is totally different from yours. And whose way of looking at things. You know, I remember so many times, even working in a group of elders, at times I've told the fellow to go and join the group of children and says, you spend 2 sessions there.
2 sessions there,
Right? And it's been an incredible experience for the individual.
But this must be requiring time because you can't. So how long are these programs normally? Because you can't do it like, overnight or like a quick fix thing, right?
It's most of these programs are for 6 days, 5.5, 6 days.
Okay.
The internship program is much longer.
Yeah.
Internship program is about 11, 12 days.
And that's obviously people who are taking it are more seriously into process work and they want either their vocation or something that they would like to do, right? Okay. With so many people. How many people do you normally have?
Well, last year we had a total community which was over 100.
Wow. That's a lot of people sharing very intimate moments together.
You virtually take over the hotel.
So tell us, normally I'm sure you get a lot of questions like, okay, so tell us, who is it for? Who is this program for? But I'm going to do it a little differently. I will ask you, who do you think it is not for?
That's a good question. Well, who is it for is very simple. It's for anyone who is interested in what we call self-reflexivity.
Yeah.
We believe self-reflexivity is integral to being human.
You will have to explain that for me. What do you mean by self-reflexivity?
You see, the way human beings are, for good or for bad, they necessarily ask themselves, who am I? What is this life for? What do I want from life? Now, these are questions which are integral to being human. You can't say whether these are good questions or these are bad questions. They just are. And human beings necessarily deal with these. We also believe that in order to be effective and to lead a meaningful life, self-reflexivity as an important integral part of existence. However, there would certainly be some people who regard self-reflexivity not as a gift of being human, but as a burden of being human.
Or as a curse of being human. Yes, I call that.
That you're much better,
Existential crisis. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are people who don't want to go there, who don't want to ask any of these questions, who want to just kind of, exist, survive, believe that, whatever are the given ways of their context, of their heritage, or the demands of the situation, they just live with that. And they are much better off not asking of any of these questions.
We enviously sometimes call them happy-go-lucky.
Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. Yes. This program is not for them. This program is not for people who are looking for quick fix solutions.
With so much self-help available as quick fixes.
This is not a self-help program. It doesn't tell you that you do this and everything will be fine and everything will be
Top 10 tips.
Top 10 tips, etc. The reality is that often we get people, particularly from organizations, who send people to be fixed.
Wow,
Who believe that, these are...
There's something wrong.
wrong with these.
So I'm sure you get that question, right? What is wrong with me? Why has my boss sent me?
Yes, of course.
Can you tell me?
And in fact, a lot of when these people come, there is a huge amount of resistance. Because sometimes they have been sent without being consulted. Without being told.
So it's not really their choice.
It's not really their choice. And they come with this feeling that there's something wrong with them. On the other hand, there are also people who come to these programs because they believe that they are the chosen ones.
Oh, okay.
And the organization is investing in them, and these are the people who are leaders of the future, etc., etc. So all of them come with some messages from the context. So you have to deal with both kinds of messages. Let me also respond to this question a little differently.
Okay.
It's not a question of who is it for or who is it not for. There are people who may experience initial difficulties in the program. But I won't say that it's not for them. Because in my experience, it's these people who often gain the maximum out of it.
Probably because they're challenged the most.
That's right.
And that's why
And they are not willing to, just go with the tide. So like for instance, people who are not very comfortable opening up to others very easily. They may find it very difficult to. They may experience tremendous amount of initial difficulties. Similarly, people who are comfortable only in dealing with the world of rationality and ideas. They may find it difficult to get into the realm of feelings, and they may say, what is this business of feelings and stuff like that? Okay.
I'm sure you find a lot of men like that.
I'm glad to know that women also have gender biases. But yes, I find a lot of men and a lot of women
who have these issues.
Who have these issues, particularly women who want to be more men than women.
What about people who may also be who may have very strongly held opinions?
That's right. People who have very strongly held opinions, who don't like to be challenged, who have in fact thought through many things and have come to a certain position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And therefore they have a certain base on which they are standing.
Yeah.
And therefore it's not very easy for them to question, to have many of these beliefs and assumptions that they hold
being thrown to question.
question.
Yeah.
So these are the people who are likely to experience good deal of initial difficulty. But as I said, that often some of the people who gain the most are the ones who experience these difficulties. So I would say it's not for them.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess what you're also saying that they need to be interested enough to participate in the process.
That's right. Or, at some stage or the other, they do get interested.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
On the other hand, people who are looking for quick fix solutions and are stuck there, they are unlikely to benefit from it.
Okay, yeah. Do you also get questions like, therapeutic questions that, I have this, that and this problem and I have come to cure myself? Do you get questions
Certainly,
like that?
Certainly,
yeah.
Yes. See, one of the things about Sumedhas is that we don't look at health and pathology as black and white categories.
Right.
We all have our own pathologies. We all are healthy in a certain way, right? So therefore, it's that most human beings have their dysfunctionalities, and it's perfectly legitimate in a space like Sumedhas to engage with these dysfunctionalities, or within quotes, I don't particularly like the word pathology, but for a lack of a better word, to do that. There is a lot of healing which takes place. People are sitting with some kind of a personal trauma, some kind of a difficulty, some kind of experiences that they've had. So there is a release from those. So there is an element of that, but it's not curative or a problem solving kind of thing that, okay, this is the problem, this is the cure, It's much more participative, much more engaging, much more involving, where in the process many of your dysfunctionalities will also come to the fore, and there have been remarkable things which have happened to people as a result of attending these programs. So there is an element of healing in it, but that's not the primary emphasis.
And so what would you say that the program demands? It seems like a pretty demanding program from the individual who is participating.
Well, yes and no. I remember one of my very close friends who's in the business of holidays came and said, this is the best holiday I've ever had.
Okay. Yeah.
And in fact got all kinds of ideas about how to strike.
Yeah.
But he had a different concept of a holiday. He didn't look at holiday only as a space where you consume.
Yeah.
He looked at holiday as
a space
for not as an escape, but as a space where you replenish yourself, where you look at things.
Recharge your batteries.
That's right. Because often the escapist kind of holidays leave you more tired.
Than anything
so it's not a so it's in that sense it's a very replenishing experience also. In some ways, yes, it is demanding to the extent that there's a lot of intensity around you. There are lots of feelings. There are many things which in normal course of life you would say pass to. Here you would they would be under the microscope. So there is fair amount of stress in that sense of the term. But as I said, it's also very replenishing because the kind of touch that you receive, and not just from the faculty, a lot of it happens between the people. The kind of intimacy which develops. People have developed lifelong friendships and programs of this kind.
What would you say is the relevance, say, of a program like this in the current times that we live in, given that life's getting busier, life's getting faster, there's very little time for anything, and yet end of the day you seem to feel that not much is achieved. And we talk about various kinds of races, including those for the rats. So in such a situation of our current times, lack of intimacy, alienation, all of that, what do you think this program does?
Well, I suppose you have answered that question yourself, haven't you?
Like how?
Okay. You have said you spend a lot of energy and then end up feeling that it doesn't have too much of meaning. So therefore, really, what do you do in order to experience a life which is meaningful for you? Right? Which may or may not be very successful in eyes of others, but has a sense of meaningfulness and integrity with yourself. Right? Because from our point of view, two of the most basic things about being human are a search for integrity, and by integrity I don't mean honesty. I mean a sense of feeling integral with yourself, right? And a sense of meaningfulness. That is, you are a meaningful part of the context to which you belong. Right? So it's really the best of times for me, and I think for most other people, come when they are in sync with themselves and the context to which they belong.
And that's what this kind of an environment provides people to cope with.
And to kind of look at and examine those processes. Because one of the things about being human for all of us is that there are certain repetitive processes in which we get caught. We become captives of our own history.
Yes, yes.
Right? So there is a history that you have, and that history tends to repeat itself over and
gets
over
into a chakra.
and over again. That's right.
Right. And how do you break out?
That's right. And once you break out of it, you find a new kind of freedom for yourself. And a new set of action choices open up for you. And you think, look, I mean, this is the way you were looking at it, but that's not all of it. Not that it was wrong, but it was only one element of the truth.
And you probably get a view of the wider context of things.
You end up seeing this as the whole truth, like the famous story of the elephant and the seven blind men. You just think that this is the only truth. Because what is happening over here, you are engaging with a group of other people. One, you find that many of the things that you thought were happening only to you are not just what is happening only to you. You also find that same kinds of issues are being dealt with and responded to by different people in different ways. So there are lots of things which open up.
This gives me an idea. Would you say this is an interesting program to be at, other than for the many things that you mentioned already? Say before two people decide to work together or live together, or people who are together in different ways, in work situations or two friends who want to explore a certain way of looking at themselves, their context and their relationship with the world together. So could this be something that you would advise people to do just as a solo journey for themselves, or could it also be a journey within whatever kind of relationship that one might see?
This is a very tricky question.
Okay.
See, because if you have a certain stake in a person or in a relationship, then clearly being with that person in this setting can be a resource. It can also be a big hindrance.
Okay.
Right? Because you're already accustomed to it. One of the great benefits of a program like this is that you are amongst strangers. You don't have much at stake, in the sense that you're not concerned about what will this person think of you. You will think about even with
but
strangers.
Not as much. Because ultimately it doesn't matter.
That's right. The emphasis when you are with someone with whom you are in a relationship or wish to be in relationship, there is a certain thing that you would have in terms of protecting that relationship. Your focus necessarily will shift from yourself to the relationship per se. So in a sense, it can be very.
But it also has its.
It also has
pitfalls. So maybe not. Yeah.
If the person comes, in fact, we would normally not like to have people who are a couple in the same group.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Even for instance, there are times when you have husband and wife from the attending the summer program, but we would have the husband and wife stay separately.
Okay, as individuals.
As individuals.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, together.
Not together.
Yeah, that sounds.
Because relationships also create their own patterns. They create their own inhibitions.
They create a subcontext.
That's right. Yeah, and there are do's and don'ts, and there are certain things that you have already assumed them to be so. So therefore,
brings in additional baggage with
that's right. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ashok, for telling us all about Sumedhas and the summer program. And we really hope that people take this opportunity to explore new avenues of exploring themselves and the context that they live in. Thank you.
Thank you.